What's up, y'all? It is July 21st, 2024, and today is the third anniversary of my suicide attempt. So yeah, this is kind of a celebration video. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be alive. I've just been kind of spending the day reflecting, and I have something to read from my journal from 2023, from January of 2023. And I think it kind of speaks to the importance of my presence on this planet. I was looking for journal entries from 2021, but this journal is from 2020, in 2022 and 2023. And it looks like I wasn't really writing much for that second half of 2021, which I guess is reflective of my state of mind during that period of time. So I'm just going to read what I wrote. It's called On Atoms in the Universe.
What?
I recently learned about the law of conservation of matter. It was really comforting to me to think that before time ever even existed, that all the materials to create what's on this earth were already here. Every single piece of matter is meant to be here. No atom can be created or destroyed. That means even if you were no longer to inhabit, who knows, your vessel, it doesn't mean that you've been destroyed. You've just changed another form. It's comforting to think about. There's always going to be enough space for me here, and there always has been. I have a designated spot on this earth. Now, I may change my form, either physically or chemically, but I will never be destroyed. I can change myself from the way that I look or the way that I live my life. I have the ability to change my form, to become a compound, or to dissipate into smoke. Do I want to be liquid or solid? What spaces can I fit into? How many different forms can I take before it can't be reversed? How many times will it take before I form a perfect identity? Can I look into the future and figure out how to get the perfect formula? Will I cause an explosion and ruin everything around me? Am I a reactive mixture, or am I safe and stable? Do I get to decide? I become an alchemist on the days that I want to try something new. There's only one way to figure it out. I only have to be me and be here, and not go against my intuition. I have to trust in the surety of the future. The now is not so important. It can be if I become more present and leave all this fake shit behind. Something's gotta give, and I can tell what's not to my benefit. I want to immerse myself in the world and figure out something new. Go back to the basics and dive into what feels like healing. And yeah, so
It's bad.
what I like about that piece of writing is the fact that, like, science really supports the fact that we can never be destroyed. Like, the person that I am, my essence, will live on forever, whether my physical form is here or not. But the fact that I have the ability to have a physical form is really special, because I could be just a spirit, or just some smoke, or a liquid, or a gas, or whatever. But, like, I have a physical form. And so, therefore, like, I exist in the material world. And, like, my spirit and my soul and my being has a place to exist in this current timeline. And I think that's really special. Something that my therapist told me, like, my first therapist ever, he told me, he was really spiritual, like, no bullshit, very blessed to have met him when I did, because he was my therapist during this time where I was dealing with a lot of suicidal ideation. And something that he said to me that stuck with me forever is, like, even if you were to kill yourself, because he knew that I believed in reincarnation, even if you were to kill yourself, you would have to come back and deal with those problems that you didn't solve in this life, in your next life anyways. So what's the point of even killing yourself? Yo, like, what's the point of even killing yourself, right? Because if what I'm going through is so deep to the point that I feel like I can't handle it in this life, and it's so deep that I want to run away from it in this life with taking my life now in this current timeline, who's to say that when I am reincarnated, when my spirit comes back to this planet, that I'm not gonna still have to deal with those problems that I was dealing with in this life when I come back the next time around. Because the way that works is like, if I can't figure it out in this life, when I die, I'm going to come back and still have those problems. And I really believe like the things that we deal with in this life are things that we have not healed from our past lives. And so that shit snatched me up and honestly removed any kind of suicidal ideation from my mind. But maybe not, because I don't know if it happened before or after. But I just really have been in a reflective mood today, and just kind of, I haven't even really been celebrating my life, really. I think I've just been kind of existing and giving myself some respect. This morning, I just spent the time to fold my laundry and just clean my room and change my sheets and just make sure that my space felt livable. And I've just been being really gentle with myself. July is a really hard month for me. And I've been saying this to all my friends like all month, and just kind of notifying people, because it's something that I've noticed that like, and the thing is like, if you're like me and you've ever felt the urge to take your life and actually acted on that impulse, then you know that it's not a split second decision. You know that that's something that is like kind of leading up and building until finally one day you're just like, all right, that's it, I've had enough. And so for me, that kind of looked like a downward spiral. So today is July 21st. And so from, I'd say, the end of June up until July 21st, I was just really exhibiting signs of not being there mentally. And it's a strange feeling, because when you're in that state of mind, you feel like you're making perfectly sound decisions, and that what you're doing is totally normal, because it's just like, it's such a weird thing that like, your brain can really convince you that the people in your life do not love you and don't care for you and would be better off without you in their lives. And like, I genuinely did believe that. I genuinely did believe that I would be doing people a favor if I just completely removed myself from the planet. And so some of the things that I was saying would be like, I wish that I could just like not exist. Like, I don't want to kill myself, but I just wish that I wouldn't be here. Or there would be times where I would like, I wouldn't fantasize, but I would imagine in my head, like myself from a third person point of view watching my funeral. And so like, I could picture what my funeral would look like, and seeing my family crying and seeing like the t-shirts, or I would wonder what picture would they use of me if I were to kill myself? Like, what would they post in the newspaper? Like, who from my city would say that they knew me, even though they didn't really know me? Like, who would grieve my death? And so I kind of had like these visions about what it would be like in the days following my death. And that's not that's a concerning thought for somebody to be having, right? Just imagining what the world would be like without me in it. And I just really, on a day-to-day basis, I was very, very irritable. Like, the smallest things would bother me. Like, I remember seeing a Snapchat that I had posted saying like, I was on my way to work, like I had an internship, and I was so pissed off at just having to be awake and alive and go about my day to day. Like, I was irritated at the fact that I had to be on this earth and be a human and go out and do things. Like, deeply, deeply dissatisfied with the fact that I had to be alive. And I was commuting to my job, and this is post-COVID. So I had just been diagnosed with depression in September 2020, which was my first year of college and my first year out of high school. And 2021 was like kind of the year following that. So September 2020, when I was supposed to be going into college, and then December of 2020, we transitioned into 2021. And so from 2020, honestly, from June of 2020 and onward, it was just kind of like adding and adding and adding and adding. And so that day that I was supposed to be commuting to work, I remember I had posted a story on Snapchat, like, I just want to fucking throw myself onto the train tracks. And it's like, people joke about killing themselves all the time. Like, that would have been my 13th reason, and this would have been my 13th reason, or whatever the case may be. And so I feel like we kind of just turn a blind eye to it. And I don't blame anybody for seeing that and not being concerned, because I feel like it's normal for people to joke about suicide, which is crazy to think about, because looking back and like looking at the things that I was posting and looking at the way that I was acting, like, it was very clear that I was in danger to myself. But the thing about being suicidal is that you never think that you are actually going to do it. Like, I would tell people, like, I would never try to kill myself. Like, yeah, like, I wish I wouldn't wake up, but I wouldn't intentionally try to kill myself. I didn't have a plan. And the thing about like suicide is that you don't think that you would ever do it until you actually try to kill yourself. And like, just thinking about the fact that like I really genuinely attempted, like I actually made an attempt to kill myself, is fucking crazy to think about. Like, the way that I did it too. So I had been put on Prozac to manage I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. And I was put on Prozac to kind of manage those symptoms. And it was always on and off with medicine. I never really liked taking it. I kind of feel really weird about being administered medicine from a hospital setting, just because it's easy to get addicted to things. And also to like, I just have my own personal stigmas around being medicated. I do think there's some instances where it can help. But for me, it's just always been a scary thing for me. And so I was on the Prozac and I wasn't really consistent with it. But they would always prescribe it to me. And so I had like a big excess of the medication. And the thing about Prozac that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that it is prescribed to people who have depression and who have suicidal ideation. But one of the side effects of the medicine is that it can cause you to have suicidal thoughts. And so the medicine that is supposed to help you with your depression can make you want to kill yourself more. And that's one of the side effects that I was experiencing, unfortunately. And one night I was supposed to go out for dinner with some friends, and I ended up not being able to. I was all dressed up and ready to go. I had my outfit on, and I was telling my sister, like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And she's like, you're not going. Like, I just kept believing that somehow, some way I was going to make it to this dinner. And my sister was just really honest with me. She was like, you're not going to go. Like, it's not happening. And I was just like, so in my delusion that I genuinely believed that some way, somehow I was going to make it to that dinner. I had straightened my hair, my makeup was done, I had an outfit, I'd been planning on it for a really long time, and ultimately I wasn't going to make it there. And so my sister told me that, and I'm just like, damn. Like, I've been trying to make things go right for me all day. And actually, earlier that day, I had such a prestigious internship. I was 18 years old. I'm 22 now. I had such a prestigious internship. I was working at like an organization, like not even an organization, like an institution, an art institution that is like very well renowned, and like really a privilege to be able to get an internship, a paid internship at this kind of institution at my age of 18. And even there, I wasn't even doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was showing up, slacking off. Like, I didn't realize the immense privilege that I had to be there. Like, I would complain about it, and I just wasn't there for it. And the opportunities that I had, I was on a council at that time as well, and I just really was not in the mind state to take the blessings that were right in front of my lap. And that day, I literally walked out of the internship with the head of the person who was running that program, and I told him straight up, like, I'm not going to come back. And I quit, and I walked out on the spot. And that was something that I had a really big regret for a long time, because I kind of burned a bridge or acted out of impulse and left a bad impression on people who were part of this very prestigious, very well-renowned, very tapped-in institution that I now currently with my career goals, like I would still love to be a part of. And so I walked out that day. I was supposed to have dinner later that night, couldn't go, and I ended up taking a handful of Prozac. All the excess pills that I had not been taking, I literally just took a handful of them and I swallowed a whole bunch of them. And I knew that the Prozac could have killed me, but for some reason, I kind of hoped that it would. And I told my sister that I just swallowed a whole bunch of pills. And she came upstairs because we were living in the same building, and she was living on a different floor than me at the time. And she came upstairs and she told my mom what had happened. And they took me to the hospital. And I was admitted to the hospital. And I spent about a week and a half, maybe, in the mental institution. And that was 3 years ago today.
You're strong.
I lived. And I went and I got the help that I needed. And I went to therapy. And I did everything that was asked for me when I was in that mental institution. And it was really scary to be 18 years old and to be in the adult ward. And to be away from my family. And I cried every day that I was there. And I called my family every day that I was there. And I was just scared that I would never be released, because when you're in a place like the psych ward, your autonomy, your power is completely removed. I mean, you're at the mercy of whoever's in charge of you when you're in there, because you are not trusted to be a mentally capable person. And so if it ever came down to it, I knew that it would be their word against mine. If someone wanted to take advantage of me, it would be their word against mine. And, I'm a mentally ill person who just tried to kill themselves. So I felt like if anything happens, like, nobody would believe me. And it was a really scary experience. But after that, I just I got out in a week. The very next day that I was out, I went on a trip with my family to Florida. I was off social media for months. I got a job 2 weeks after I came back from Florida, or a week after I came back from Florida. Then I started school. I was working, going to school all at once. Failed that first semester. I'm a person who's always been very studious. I've always been known to be smart. I've always been known to get A's and B's in school. Like, I'm not a person that has ever failed a class before, besides calculus. And I failed that first semester back. Completely bombed it. Wasn't taking it seriously. Wasn't paying attention to class. Wasn't passing the assignments. Wasn't doing nothing right. That's my first semester back in person after COVID. Because everything was virtual. Okay, cool. Come back the next semester. Bombed it again. 2 semesters in a row I failed. After I had to withdraw that first semester in 2020, failed 2 semesters in a row. That sent me back a year and a half. They kicked me out of the school. They took away all my scholarships. I was getting paid to go to school. I was getting like $600, $800 a semester just to go to school. Got all my scholarships revoked. And that was that. I had to write an appeal. I have this appeal in front of me here. Don't know where it is. Right, so you also.
Thank you.
Periods. So this was on July 17th, 2022, that I was drafting my appeal letter to go back to school. Hi, my name is Helena Almonte. I'm currently pursuing an undergrad degree in communication at UMB. My time at UMB has been extremely beneficial in my development as a student. Throughout this last semester, My goal was to invest everything I have into my studies. I figured if UMB sees potential in me enough to help fund my education, I should do the same. Throughout the semester, I attended classes on time, participated in class discussion, sought out help when I struggled, and tried my best to be communicative with my professors. I even received praise in an email for my ideas in class discussion. However, I am not a perfect student. I suffer from severe clinical depression. To combat the symptoms, I was prescribed fluoxetine, or commonly known as Prozac. Unfortunately, a side effect of Prozac is suicidal ideation. This is concerning, but even more so for me after I was hospitalized for an intentional overdose on that same medication in July of 2021. Such symptoms, such as spotty attendance and an increase in difficulty for seemingly simple tasks, began taking place. I would describe the experience as a downward spiral. Despite these challenges, I'm still committed to seeing my success come into fruition. If I was offered the chance to continue my studies at UMB, I'd be willing to meet with my advisor on a bi-weekly basis to log my progress and put the therapy services at UMB to use to make sure that I'm able to function at full capacity to move forward in my education. So that was in July of 22 that I was writing my appeal to be able to get the majority of my scholarships back for fall semester of 2022. And luckily, my appeal was well received, and I did get back the majority of my scholarships, but there's some money that I did not get back, and now I'm still paying for my education at UMB. So I now have a year and a half left. I should have graduated this year if everything went smoothly, but those 3 semesters I had to withdraw, and then I failed 2 in a row, set me back a year and a half. And so now I have a year and a half left, and it's crazy to me that I am about to graduate college when it felt like I was never going to finish. Like, it felt like I was never going to be able to complete college because of the fact that it's taken me so long. Like, I've been doing it for so long. Like, I thought that I was just never going to finish. And like, it just didn't even cross my mind that one day there was an end goal. And it's crazy because that year and a half off has given me so much more purpose in my degree. And as you can see in that letter, I didn't even have a double major yet. In college right now, I'm a double major in communication and art, and I have a minor in Latino studies. And that second major, the art major, hadn't even come into the picture yet. But that fall of 2022 is the first time that, actually, it wasn't that fall of 2022. I think it was the spring of 2022 was the first time, or 2023. I can't remember. It was after I drafted that appeal was the first time that I took a video course in college. It was around that same time that I first started talking to myself on video, because I had no one to talk to, and I was going through this and trying to figure my life out and trying to get my life back on track. And I started recording video journals on my MacBook in order to just like have a coping mechanism. And so the reason why I took that video class was so that I could learn how to edit those videos and make something out of them potentially. And I took that video class the first time, and I met people who are literally still some of my best friends to this day. I formed a relationship with that professor who taught me about video, and the final that I made in that class won me an award this year. So talking a year to 2 years later, the work that I put in on that first step that I decided to take, like I'm going to take a video class this semester, has literally changed my life. Like, now I'm making YouTube videos, putting them out for people to see them. Now I'm a year and a half ready to graduate. Now I'm getting recommended to teach people how to do video. Now I'm creating at the top of my class, being recognized for the work that I do in video. Now I'm directing music videos and just finding my place in the world. And I have so much purpose, and I have so much love and integrity in my work because of the fact that it stems from that place of like real rock bottom and like darkness and complete loss in the sense of self. Like, I had no idea who I was. I had no idea that I was an artist. I had no idea what I wanted to do in this world. And now I can't imagine what my family's life would be like if I was no longer here. And like now I really understand the value of my life, and I really understand like how strong I am, and I have so much respect for who I am and for the person that I was then, because I know that I can pull myself out of even the darkest of situations. Like I have no doubt in my abilities. I have no doubt in what's in the future for me, and I just can't believe that I wanted to cut my life short, because I've accomplished so much, so much in this past year. There's still so much for me to accomplish. Like I know my future is so bright, and I know that I'm so resilient and that I can make it through anything. You're like, the reason why I am such a holistic and like caring and understanding person is because I've been through some shit. Like this isn't something that a lot of people know about me, because I'm such an optimistic and positive and like outgoing and extroverted person, and I have so much love and light to share with the world. But I carry a lot of darkness in my past, and I still struggle a lot to this day. Like this July has not been easy for me. Like I've really been going through it, like mentally and emotionally this past month. And I know that my body holds that memory, but I've become more swift. Like I'm more better able to manage those negative emotions, and I would never ever try to end my life again. And for anybody that's watching this, I just want you to know that like, if you've been here before, if you relate to anything I said in this video, like I see you, bruh. And I'm happy that you're still here. And you have so much to fucking live for. Like, so much to live for. I don't think anybody should ever take their life. Like, I don't think so. There's no reason for it. You're so fucking loved. And like, just thinking about the impact that it would have on me if somebody in my life was to take their own life, I really felt like they did not deserve a place on this planet and could no longer be here, and decided to act on that. Like that shit would really rock my whole fucking world. Like dead ass. Like dead ass. Like your life as a human is important because of the fact that you have a soul and that you exist on this planet. Like it doesn't matter like anything. Like whatever is going on can be fixed. Everything is temporary. Everything has a solution. Like there's never a reason why you should feel like your life is not important. Like ever, bro. Like I really stand on that. And I want to continue to be a resource for people who feel like their life is not worthy. Like, I just want everyone to be happy and understand that, like, your life is worth living. And, like, I'm very appreciative for the lows that I've had in my life, that life is not perfect. I still struggle sometimes. Like, depression doesn't go away. I still struggle to get out of bed sometimes. I said I took care of myself today by cleaning my room because I've been having a hard time keeping my space clean. And that's just real shit. Life's not perfect. I'm not all love and light all the time. I can be an asshole sometimes. I can be negative sometimes. I can be in drama sometimes. Like, I'm not perfect. And I will never fucking claim to be that. Because trust me, I am not a fucking perfect person. And none of us are. But that's okay, because that's life and we're human. And that's what makes us special. The fact that we're not perfect. We're all individual human beings. And that's just it. I just wanted to say this and put that out there and just be vulnerable for a second, because I want to celebrate my life and I want people to celebrate it with me. And I love all of you so much. And please understand that you are perfect the way that you are, that you're beautiful, and that your life is very, very meaningful. And thank you for watching me. No bullshit. Everyone who watches my videos and shares this with me, I am so grateful for you, because it means a lot to me for you to sit here and listen to what I have to say and to be on this journey with me, because I've come a long way. And it's not easy to be vulnerable sometimes, but my hope is that me being vulnerable and me sharing my heart with y'all, that you feel that you'll be more open to talking about what you're going through and being vulnerable and, you know, sorting things out. It's better to talk about things than to keep it inside. And so with that being said, happy July. Thanks for listening to my story, and you're important, and I love you. Bye.